Hey, sports fans, for any of you that have been following this, seems like excuse me, seems like about a month of work to install the Walbro 485 in Little Red, the Baddest in the land. But the good news is it is installed, and what you're seeing here, I'll zoom in just a second, is the fuel tank lid on with the Radium Engineering external harness that's attached with barrel connectors to the Aeromotive Phantom fuel pump harness that runs from the front of the car up by the battery where the circuit breaker and relay is, all the way back under, following the fuel lines, meticulously zip tied, I might add, and then down and up, following the hard lines up over the tank into the lid area. We did find when we were getting ready to put the lid on and working out where to drill the hole for the Radium Engineering connector to poke through the lid. This is just a cover, actually, the red cover. Did find out that we had the positive line, one of the barrel connectors. It was loose on one side, and that's when you want to find it. That's why you always leave slack when you're wiring anything. You leave slack. You don't ever do your distance to exact proportions, because you may have to cut, resplice. You may have to move some things, and you will always want inches at least of slack in any kind of wiring situation. You can zip tie up the excess, but you can't get more length after you cut it off. So anyway, what we've got, as you can see, the Radium Engineering, we drilled another hole on that side of the fuel tank lid cover for the Radium Engineering external harness to poke through. On this side, you can see that grommet used to be reversed, and it was basically a grommet that just, rubber grommet that just prevented chafing for these wires here that are coming out to the OEM harness, which we're using all but the big one you see there that's disconnected. That's the fuel pump, the OEM fuel pump connection. We don't need it. It's been deleted. I even desoldered the wires off the internal part of the lid, because we have our own harness now, and it runs from the front of the car directly to the Walbro. So that's what's done. We'll give you a couple of updates. So if you see these pillows here, for any of you that ever worked on your fuel pump, had your fuel hanger assembly out, of course you have to get inside the car. And what I do is I take some pillows and just put them down where the spare tire goes, so I can sit in there and be in there on my knees, because you're going to be in the car. You cannot do this leaning in the driver's side door, or you have to be in the car. So anyway, that is where we're at. Got one more segment left, and that's actually two. We got one more segment left where we're going to attempt to install a remote 12-volt relay that we picked up at Tractor Supply. It's actually for turning on lawn sprinklers and garden pumps and things like that, but we don't care what it was designed for. We want to use it for remotely turning on and off the Walbro, because we took it for a test drive yesterday and found out real quick, not a lot of fun to have to get out, pop your hood, and flip a switch to turn off your fuel pump every time you stop somewhere. In general, this car does not do a lot of stopping. When I go drive it, I get it out on the highway and try to get out of town and go out in the country and drive and just enjoy it. But you have to stop sometimes, and that remote is really going to come in handy, because we can kill the fuel pump, turn off the car, kill the fuel pump, and we're good. And then the single pole, single throw missile key type switch we installed that you saw in a previous clip, we're going to keep that in the circuit as a kill switch. So say we had to spend the night somewhere and we thought it might be sketchy, or we just didn't want anyone to try to steal Little Red, we would flip that switch, and there'd be no way. Even if they could get in the car, they wouldn't be able to figure out that we have a kill switch there. and the remote would be in off position. So like a double safety. So anyway, the other thing I want to tell you just real quick, in the test drive of Little Red, and this is with one of the positive line to the Walbro wasn't in the barrel connector tight, so it was not getting a full-on great electrical connection, but the car ran like a different car. So even just before I could get out of the neighborhood, just started it and just started pulling up the street. I went, okay, I don't know whose Z this is, but I love it and I want it. Because immediately I could tell that the new motor wanted this. It wanted a dedicated, totally high-end performance fuel delivery system. It didn't do perform anything like it does now with Aeromotive 340 Stealth, which is a great fuel pump, 340 liters per hour. It's not a joke, but it's not this. So this Walbro 485 has actually 450 liters per hour. And when we took it out and got it on the highway, we boosted the car, so they couldn't really get the car to boost before. I certainly couldn't get it to boost with the factory fuel pump and fuel pressure control unit before they went out. There's no boost happening. There was a little bit of boost happening with the Aeromotive, but now that the Walbro 485 is in, the car boosts whenever you give it gas. Basically, I push down the gas, it starts boosting immediately. So what it wanted with this particular motor, and this is a very high performance brand new motor, is built by Jesse Albert and at RHC Motorsport in Tulsa. It's seriously badass, and what it wants is it wants this. It wants a high performance, high flow fuel pump with a dedicated 30 amp wiring harness, so they can get the gas and that it needs when it wants it. So actually just coming down the street to the neighborhood, I came around the corner and just kind of did not even push the gas to the floor. I have not had the car in wide open throttle, or watt as it's called in tuning vernacular. I have not had it in that mode, and I don't know where I can do that at, because it's scary fast now. I just pushed it down, I don't know, maybe a third throttle, a third of the way down on the gas pedal, and the car started boosting immediately. It just so smooth. There's no like pushing you back in the seat. It just instantly accelerates a tremendous amount, and the revs and the RPM build just so beautifully. It's one of the most smooth experiences I've ever had in a turbo car, and nothing like what this car was with the old engine and the HKS boost controllers. The turbos came on perfectly smooth and just brought on the boost, and the car just accelerated just beautifully. So we're going to go out for a drive later on today. I'm going to mount this camera, this GoPro, on the windshield, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Little Red is very happy, and anyone that is thinking about doing a Walbro 485 fuel pump upgrade on their twin turbo Z, please hit me up. I promise you, I will tell you every single step I did. You didn't see it in the videos. I did not put the camera on and work for 4 or 5 hours. It's just not my style. So I show you what I'm gonna do, and then I show you how it turned out. All the details, step by step, will share with anyone that asks. So I did learn a lot of lessons, and it would save you a lot of time and angst, and maybe some money if you hit me up. I'll share, show you how I did it, but I'm really happy with the install. It's not perfect. I don't really like the way the Radium Engineering external harness pokes up, and you can't only smash it down so much. You don't want to bend those positive and negative wires too much. But it is what it is. So we have an in-tank pass-through harness that goes directly to the Walbro with Walbro connectors on it. That you just can't get that around the corner. So props to Radium Engineering for supporting the Z32 platform and providing that pass-through harness, because we used it. and nothing is perfect. There's no perfect solution where you get everything you want. Ideally, I would not want that external harness sticking up like that, but it is, and it'll be just fine because the parcel tray is going over top of that. We're going to put some pieces here that you'll see me throw in front of the camera. We're going to put these. They were, I think they were in a different spot. We're going to put them over the fuel tank lid cover for sound deadening. Not that the Walbro sounds bad. It sounds amazing. It sounds kind of like a jet engine. But we don't want to hear it, and we want sound deadening around that. So we're going to put a couple of pieces of that over that. Put the parcel tray back on, and put the rest of the paneling in. And we're going to take a break. The next thing we're going to do is try to install the remote relay, and that'll be it. So we're very close to the end of the project. Oh, and oh, by the way, there's one oh, by the way. By the way, I had the last clip I made, I had just put the Walbro in and had started the car, and it was running. But I had said incorrectly on that clip that when I was putting in the fuel hanger, I broke the OEM gas gauge float. That is not true. So I went straight to a gas station, filled up the Z, and lo and behold, I looked down and the gas gauge is reading full. So I don't know, something came off somewhere. I heard something fall down in the tank, something small. I just assumed I broke off a piece of that gauge assembly because it was kind of getting crunched a little bit. But the gauge is working.